Hello, this is Natalia from Autism and Exceptional Learner Elements. So today I wanted to go over some resources that you can utilize for the theme of winter and then going into February. So I'm going to go ahead and start showing you some of the things that I have made throughout to get you guys going. So a lot of times we want to talk about winter, but we don't necessarily, depending where you live, winter could be a catch-22. We're located in South Florida, and although right now it is extremely cold, at least for us, the people in South Florida, it's in the 40s. It doesn't necessarily look the same for everybody. However, that being said, I still want to teach students about the different concepts, right, of winter and what it entails and what winter truly looks like in some other places. So you may decide, instead of just teaching about winter, you may talk about things that could happen or that are related in winter, or how some animals benefit, or what happens for some animals during winter, or about places where winter truly occurs. So right now we have this book about learning about Antarctica, and it basically covers details and facts. So you can actually use this in different modalities. And what I love about it is I give you guys the freedom to explore how you want to tackle this particular book. One of the things I like about it is that it has very minimal distractions. There's not that many sentences, which I know is what most students would be exposed to, but I have also learned that our students would easily get distracted with things. So this is a nice way to keep their attention, their focus, and you can expand and grow more. Now, we will be doing activities that go with this particular book as the future nears, in the future nearby. But for right now, we wanted to give you guys a book that you can talk about facts, and you can either do it as a book, like I ended up binding it just because I found that it would be easier for me to have, but you could do those binder rings, or you can literally just, I have heard people do the holes and do yarns. I mean, there's different ways how you can bind it. It is up to you. Don't feel obligated that you need to have this particular comb. But what I like about it is you can actually just take it apart. You don't have to do the whole story as a whole, or you can. And you can start teaching students about different vocabularies. You can develop sentence. You can develop picture comprehension. You can practice maybe exposing some of your students who are at lower levels to this particular factual information. So think about it. This not only covers reading comprehension, but it actually also covers your social studies, right? You're going to be learning about a place, so, geography, and learning some facts about a country other than the United States. You're going to be learning about a continent, so that's another thing that you can add. And then we're going to learn about attributes of this particular place and facts. So you could even dive into turning this into your starting point, and maybe diving into other things such as making projects. So that's what I used to do, especially with my self-contained classes. I think the hardest thing is, with the demand that we have on us, is how do we get materials and expand them? How do we augment lessons so we can tackle multiple children? So one of the things my students actually taught me is to think in that mindset. Like, how can I get one thing and make it beneficial for a whole bunch of different learners, for different learner styles and things like that. So this is, I wanted to go through these actual resources to give you some of those ideas on how you can implement it in different modalities or different things that you could do with them. So like I said, this one talks about Antarctica. It talks about being one of the 7 continents. So maybe this is a starting point for you to teach about other continents. It tells you a fact about it. It is the largest. I love that it's very simple. I love that it has a fact, it has a sentence, so you can practice having some student models actually read for you, so they can be the teacher leaders if you're reading this book every day for a whole week. Maybe on Friday, one of your students, your highlight student, your rock star, or one who is misbehaving but likes being the center of attention, you can definitely apply this for them. So again, it talks about different facts, and there's many different pages. And after you teach this, whether it is in a whole group activity or whether it is in teacher time, you can then actually put this book in your book center, or your, I don't know if you have a listening center, and you could even go to the extent of actually recording the story yourself, so the students could listen to it. So I do encourage you guys to just take a look at it. We are going to be making a little bit more different books on different topics, just again to simplify. So I'm going to show you again, same format, the same mindset, in place. We also have a book about learning about bears, because again, I'm thinking January going into February. So this book is the same concept. We have very simplistic, right? So to minimize distractions. There has been times where I've made them smaller, but I particularly have learned that I do like the bigger pictures because your most complex students could have an easier time to point. So if I wanted to say, that's why we introduced labels. So if you notice here, we have the label brown bear and black bear. If you have a student who's more complex, maybe not quite yet at the stage of reading this, you can ask them, can you point to the black bear? Can you point to the brown bear? And for your higher kiddos, you can start teaching about captions and labels and things like that that you will find within stories, in regular stories, right? So we're starting to teach the concepts of print at different levels. So this is another thing you can do. You can, again, have the students read it. So it's very factual. We try to keep it factual. We did not want to over encompass too much, but you can definitely build some comprehension out of it and ask simple questions, not just about the sentences, but about the picture. So always having that picture to help you. Like this one, bears live in the mountains. So where do the bears live? You can, again, keep augmenting that comprehension with WH questions, or you can tell them, can you find the brown bear by the mountain? Is the bear, now I can even go into positional, right? So we can start finding, is the bear in front or behind the mountain? So definitely developing language could be one of them, which I love to do. I feel like, you know, SPED teachers, we have to just multitask. Like, we can't just tackle one thing at once. We have to do many things because every minute is worth 10 hours in my world. That's really what I kept thinking. So we talk about different facts, and, you know, there's pointing, there's the arrow to help guide, you know, something specific. So we did include labels, and I'm trying to think of concepts of print when I'm making some of these resources. These are the things that I have, you know, worked and created when I was in the classroom all the time to help my students gather those concepts that will be exposed in the gen ed world. But if you're in a self-contained classroom, these are things they could still learn. You might just have to teach those standards in a different mindset and a different modality. So here's a couple more, and then, you know, just kind of giving them some ideas of things they eat and things like that. And like I said, you know, when it comes to books like this, we are going to be creating additional resources that would go along with this. So I do encourage you guys, if you want to purchase it, it will be a great time because we might actually add it into it rather than selling it separate. Some other things that I love talking about, and I always make more. Our classes are so, I feel like, diverse and diversified in levels, in grade levels, in academic skill levels. So there will be times where sometimes your work can be simple. But again, I will tell you guys of many different ways you can use this particular activity that seems so simple to address maybe students who have higher skills, but develop it in a little bit further. So I'm going to show you this one. This is a winter matching, so it was meant to be super simple. If you just want to, you know, address the topic of winter, kind of build vocabulary with it, but you don't want to demand so much of students. So this is a great task to do for work tasks, for independent work, or while you're working with a student, maybe in teaching a curriculum or teaching academic content. You can do this on the side. So they're still engaged with the theme. They're still learning, you know, and practicing one-to-one correspondence. So again, it's very simple. It's many different things. We kept it minimal. So if you have kids who are more complex, I would say this is a good one. You can do it as a book, or you can actually separate it where they're actually individual pages. You can actually turn this activity also into folders if you wanted to, which I have had some teachers actually do that. So it is up to you. It is very, very versatile how you want to implement it. You can put it in a binder. You can do some cut and paste if you wanted. But here's just a simple one. And I'm super excited to say we just came out with the version of Valentines. So if you're looking into moving into February, that's also another option you have. So again, very simple. And I'm going to tell you a little more about this one because we wanted to add a couple different levels for you guys in case you wanted to bring it to the next notch. So another thing that I was thinking about, because I've been trying to find ways, again, I know we don't have enough time, how can we maximize our resources, is I actually made activities where my older students, they can manipulate the objects, right? But I have magnetic letters, and I actually found these letters from Target that are like these erasers, these letter erasers, and they were doing beginning sounds. So you can grab some of these pictures and actually turn them into beginning sounds, or maybe they just put the beginning sound on top of here too. You can do beginning sounds, you can do ending sounds, you can do middle sounds, you can do syllables if you want to push that, like how many syllables does snow half, snowball, igloo. So again, you can even go to that challenge and use this in many different modalities. So again, expanding vocabulary. Can you find the hat? Where's the hat? The scarf, the mittens, the sweater, the earmuffs. So super fun, super simple. It is not meant to be hard. You can use it to keep students engaged in work tasks or even independence, so you can continue to work with the rest of your students. Now I want to talk to you guys about adaptive books. I mean, I cannot ever say enough about adaptive books. So I'm going to go ahead if I can find my main page. Okay, so there is this resource which actually comes with two formats. There is the book, which is kind of like the other books I told you. I made some books that were half pages and some that are full pages, but it's the same concept. You are talking about the actual winter. So it's learning, it's minimal, so you don't have a lot of distractions. It actually goes over the different facts about winters with matching pictures. You can build sentences. I have even gone to the extent for my older kids who were in intermediate grade levels. I would ask them to look at a picture and maybe cover the sentence. So I'm going to give you guys another activity that you can use this. And I asked them to describe the pictures. So I would ask them for attributes such as who is in the picture, what is happening, where, how many, the movements in the picture. So you can actually have them build sentences with it based on those attributes. So it is up to you how far or close or how much challenge, or pushing your students to the next level. But know that it is not just a simple book that you can put in your book center. You can do this as a whole group activity. This is the teacher version, which again, you can put, or in this particular style of resource, we actually include I just realized my nails are completely matching, sorry guys. You can actually do the adapted version. So again, for your more complex kids, if they can't read, they can actually match the picture to the picture. So at least they're participating, they're being exposed. And I always tell my teachers, do not underestimate your students. They are absorbing a lot more than sometimes they lead on. It is sometimes really hard and challenging to assess and identify how much they have in their little brains, but you will be amazed at the knowledge that they have. We just haven't figured out how to tap into that yet. So I ask you guys to continue to expose, regardless whether you feel or do not see that the student is getting this content, because just when you least expect it, they will come and shock you. And I had a lot of students do that for me. I feel like they opened my eyes to realize that when you thought all your work was in vain and they weren't really getting any of the things you were teaching, one random occasion they're going to show you and you're going to be shocked to say, oh wow, they were paying attention all along. I just didn't realize it. So expose them, use this. You can highlight vocabulary from it. Like in this case, what covers the ground? Well, the snow covers the ground. Can you find the picture of the snow that's covering the ground? And then you can go and match. So again, there's many ways you can go around this. Then we have, again, other adaptive books. We have made adaptive books and task cards. So there's different, we created this one. Again, it's in the same resource, but you have task cards. So I wanted to show you guys how to differentiate and find the same skill in 3 different formats. So if a student is gaining the skill at a more simpler version, so we're going to call it level 1, how can I keep pushing that kid to the next challenge? So we have a perfect example here, and I'm going to start with, I believe it is this one. So this one is the counting marshmallows, but this is the version where you can use a clothing pin, you can have the student circle, you can use a paper clip, or you can put a magnet. I don't know if you have magnet boards, depend how you want to use it, but they're going to count how many marshmallows and add them in. So that is one of the versions. The next version that they have in this resource is the writing the number. So it's the same thing, but now they're actually going to write the number. But sometimes we have students who hate writing. We have students who will tantrum massively just because we gave them this particular task. So here's the other alternative to this type of version, is that they don't get to write. They're actually going to select. But if you are there, maybe now this is the next level, which will be my level 3, is that the students actually know how to read number words. So they don't have to write it. Okay, they still have to go through the process of identifying how many marshmallows are inside the hot cocoa, and now they're gonna find it and actually Velcro it on. So there's many different formats. If you don't want to do that, if you want them to write it, here's the box, you just don't add the Velcro, you can use that format as well. So again, the whole process is, you know, teaching to the theme, challenging your students, and differentiating using some of the same resources. So like I said, I particularly like even on this one that they have to select, if you are brave enough and your students are there, maybe they actually circle the number, but maybe you ask them to write it, I don't know, on the top where there's that little space. Okay, so they're actually practicing number name as well. So this is another task that you can do, and I'm all about hands-on activities. If you can't tell, I actually love being able to manipulate my learning. I find it that this is how I get the most out of my students. So this is things for, we talked about winter, so that is that part. The next thing that we have is some of the Valentine resources, which I showed you guys this one, and it actually goes into matching activities, but I wanted to give you guys a little more. So here they're matching colors, and here they can actually, and you have both formats of visual supports. They can either match the colors or they can actually match and label by the number words. And I also have the activities for the numbers, which again are in different levels. You can either do the matching directly, or you can identify the label of the number name. So that is for February. We also have this cute bundle that was created on counting, and it basically is, you have different formats. I like the new format that we are doing where you have visual representation of the questions, and it's how many hearts do you see, I see, and they get to pick from the number card how many they see. And just to show you where you see the hearts is they start getting added to the truck heart. And this is a bundle that has 4 different books, so you can do counting truck hearts, counting flowers, counting candy hearts, and counting the chocolates. Okay, so there's these 4 versions. Again, hands-on books, you can teach counting with the kids, you can do it in teacher time and whole group, and then transition them to work tasks. So the whole goal is you can actually multi-use some of these resources. And the last one right now that I am going to be showing you is color hearts. Same thing, you have 2 different formats. So I didn't cut these out, I just wanted to show you guys, but basically the student is going to read with a visual support which color is the heart, and they're going to mention what type of color heart they see. And then you can, if the student is past the matching level and now they're working on name recognition of the colors, this is a great way to use the same book in a different modality. Or if you want it, you can print it twice and just use it with different formats of visual supports and answers. So again, guys, I wanted to show you some of these ideas, some of these resources, and how you can vary them. Our goal is to help you be more successful in the class. Our goal is to help you have less work in your classroom. So hopefully some of these resources are available. I will put the link below so you guys can access our main store and some of these resources that have been shown. And again, I hope to see you next time. We will keep having these videos to help you guys just keep learning and hopefully make your class a little bit simpler. Thank you so much for joining, and see you next time.